Happy New Year. Gem Collectors Show with Shawn. I am Shawn, and I am raring to go here with the new year. And everything is just going to be just like you ever known it. You know, graduated high school in 1979. And it's funny, so the music, lyrics, and everything that go through my head daily are going to be totally different than someone else, millennials, let's say, my son being one of them. And so when I left all of you last in the Gem Collectors Show, so this obviously is not the live show, we're recording this one you're watching now. It was about 3 weeks ago or so. It's funny. 4 different lyrics popped through my head in this sequence. So those of you, which I think most of you actually are more from my generation than any others. So let me see. Some of these may hit true with you. So in this chronological order, these tunes ran through my head for what has taken place in the last few weeks. The first one being Crossroads by the Allman Brothers. Okay, so Crossroads came to my mind. Great song, by the way, by Allman Brothers, of course, who are, Macon, Georgia band. So we can certainly relate to them, us Georgians. The next one was Break On Through to the Other Side. And that lyric, if you know the song, just always will, because it repeats it a couple times in the song. The Doors, Jim Morrison. Break On Through to the Other Side. That chronologically came to mind. And all this was going on actually this morning driving here. I have, the Raven and I have a long drive to get here and to go home. So you have time. This morning we did a lot of chatting and my brain is always running. The third one was Back in the Saddle Again. Aerosmith. Yep, back in the saddle again. Here I am. And Aerosmith, of course, super popular band through many multi-generations. I wouldn't have normally gone to see them, but I think it was a 16th birthday gift to Summer, Raven's daughter. She's 25 now. So paid the big bucks, got a great seat. And yeah, I have to say, even if you don't like a band, when you see them live, any band, the experience is multiplied many times as far as your enjoyment. And so, it was a great show. It was a great show. And the last song that came to mind. So Back in the Saddle Again, here I am, right? Aerosmith was, and this one I can relate to well because the Raven, whom all of you know and have seen what she looks like now through the Christmas videos and whatnot. And she's been here so long and worked for many different vendors. But she was one of the last, she's about 5 years younger than I am. And that age group puts her as one of the last of her kind, which go with this song. And that is What a Long, Strange Trip It's Been by none other than Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead. The Raven being one of the last of the Deadheads. She'd make jewelry. See, I'm getting around, segueing to jewelry. Make these little jewelry necklaces outside before each show to make enough money to get a ticket to go in. Now, remember, back then the tickets were reasonable. You could, now they've multiplied into prices that you couldn't make enough necklaces, bead string necklaces outside to be able to pay for a ticket. But then you could, that was the days of the scalpers and all, back when tickets were fun to be able to get and didn't have all those junk fees added to them. And so anyway, those 4 songs came to mind. And so here I am, back in the saddle again. You know what? I have a few comments that we're going to read. No trivia. We're going to go back to doing trivia as well. And I want to thank all of you who have stuck with me and viewed the amazing, great gem show that Asif and I did a couple shows of, and then we put it up in place of the Gem Collector Show. And I have to be honest, you guys viewed those more than my own show. So hand it off to Asif. Great job there on keeping the show going. And of course, you could still order from that show just like you can right now. This show, we specialized in pretty much we can sell anything we want by way of jewelry or by way of gemstones or the minerals, but mostly from the ground up, I like to say, versus from the manufactured jewelry side down. You're going to see more from the ground up. All right, let's get to some of the comments that were left in the last few weeks that I wasn't able to address through the live show. And now I have edited out portions that don't relate now since I'm back doing the Gem Collector Show. Yes, I'm back here. This is not just a, this week and then off doing the live show again. Nope, here for you. Now, I edited out the parts that aren't relevant to this time period, since some were written a few weeks ago. But we have some that are. So one of Mr. Anthony in Massachusetts. Hello all, a little bit of a surprise, bringing the new show and time. They wrote, back to the old days. I hope everything is okay. That's a little prophetic, so very cool. Then he goes on and he says, I scored the Venus hair quartz crystal and the purple blue labradorite. Well, I'm going to sleep now. And well done on those pieces. Great job, because you won't see him anywhere else but this show. He puts need to rest up for the 3 a.m. show. That's why he was going to bed. So we all had to. I want to say welcome to Karen and Arlene. Also love the wood carvings, especially Steal Your Face. That's cool, since we were just talking about the Grateful Dead. Those are Chuck's amazing work. And we got to hang our Christmas ornaments that he made for Asif and I on our tree. At least I did. And they're beautiful work. Beautiful. She did. Yeah. Well, I won't go into the whole story, but since he said that, I have to say this. And since Asif now, a lot of more of you will be familiar with his face, having hosted a few shows. Chuck made these amazing ornaments after a band, and one of them brought back kind of a bad memory to her regarding the band, and so he couldn't put it on the tree. But with time, a few days, she was. It was okay to put it back up there, because you got to look at it as a work of art. You don't have to look at it all that went behind it. But Chuck did a great job, and that's what needed to be shown off, and that's on the spirit of a Christmas tree is about. So good to hear that. Let's see. Now, okay, so that's Mr. Anthony making sure that I want to make sure that Karen and Arlene, who were the new members who were just joining us back on the Gem Collector Show. So hope you found us back here again, which I think everybody has. So sticking with us. We have Miss Cindy in Pennsylvania. She actually, commenting that she enjoyed the intimate setting that we have here, and I do as well. So thank you for that. And I hope it is regarding the show for Asif. She hopes it's a great success and wishes and wants to watch the new show every week that he has one. So take care, friend, Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Then we have, Miss Pitty. Miss Pitty said, I tried to purchase a few items, but unfortunately everything on my list was sold out. Yes, that does happen. Looking forward to your new show, Asif, and more of your treasures. As everybody says, everything happens for a reason. Another prophetic comment. Then we have Miss Barbara. So, Miss Barbara, I want to say this for Asif. Your comment was very intuitive, very instructional, very spot on, and very useful. We could tell that you have been a regular watcher of gem shopping and really know what to look for and how to establish value in a piece, which is really important when you're selling fine jewelry. And it hit Asif's comment to me right on. and as far as what he felt like he needed to develop as, in being able to create and show people where the value lies and the rarity of the piece. So, Asif has the opportunity because even on, he's got all the gizmos at home to create cool, and that's what I mean by create value. You can create videos that are instructional to help people show just how hard it is, maybe to extract a particular gemstone from a mine. You can collate all this information, but that takes time, and then the editing and that's exactly what Asif has done for so many of the other vendors here at Gem Shopping, and the tribute to Frank, the 25th anniversary tribute of Gem Shopping Network. Man's amazing, and he needs to put some of these together so he can demonstrate to all of you just what a good value the items he's offering are, and he knows the ones that are and the ones that aren't, and so yeah. That, Miss Barbara, was well said by you. So I think your words will probably be used more than once. Miss Barbara goes on to say, it was a pleasure to see the man behind the control panel and the clever remarks. Asif is definitely on-air material. Looks good, genial personality, confident without being pushy. As you guys eased into a rhythm, your genuine good nature camaraderie came out. That's your stick, boys. Work it. Buddies having a blast with rocks and jewelry. That one paragraph really summed it all up, what Asif and I felt between each other. We enjoyed it. Now, we don't always, that helps tell us how it comes across to all of you. But to us, it felt different, it felt good, and it felt entertaining. It was enjoyable. And I'm just speaking from our side, so hopefully on your side you felt the same thing while getting knowledge as well. So thank you for that. Then, let's see, we have Miss Jan catching up with some past comments, and she was still looking for a way to display my gems in the little plastic container. So yes, all you have to do, Miss Jan, is do a internet search for gem tube display boxes, and they'll come up with the same boxes that we use, and just buy a new set. They're not that expensive. Or you can probably also get just the inserts. So if you already have the tubes, you don't even have to buy that. But so that all the tubes match is the way I am, so you don't get all these little different white colors. Just buy a brand new fresh one of I think they're 5x10, so 50 of them, and substitute so everything looks all matching. And if you have enough stones for one tube, I like to create some kind of design in it, with them instead of just loosely in there, circle them or something. So anyway, have fun doing that. Also, regarding a blacklight, so you're looking for a shortwave blacklight for your curio cabinet. Now, here's the thing. Shortwave light is very difficult. Also, it's the more dangerous one, okay? So you can get long-wave ultraviolet light. It's the safer one. It doesn't take as much wattage to be able to give a curio cabinet coverage from a distance. That's where both get difficult to do. Once you start moving the UV light, the further away really drops down in its ability to produce that ultraviolet color unless you have a strong wattage. Shortwave, it's even harder. But you won't find a shortwave UV light at any of the home stores. I can tell you that right now. No shortwave. Longwave is a fake long wave. They don't have even the true that I have seen, because I went looking for the old, they have a black light. It is literally like you have a red light bulb or a green light bulb you can buy, at Christmas time. It is a dark purple, what they call a black light. All it is a painted bulb, stained glass or whatever. It is not the true ultraviolet long wave wavelength that you need. So this is where buyer beware. You have to have this kind of knowledge to know. And I'm the one standing on the light bulb aisle, literally, no, looking and reading down about the Kelvin. Of course, they don't go over to Kelvin. They just give a number, expecting people to know what that means. People don't. So you know me. I'm a flashlight geek, big time, and willing to pay $30-$40 for little ones if they have the right type of bulb. So anyway, if you want a UV light, you have to go online and order it. Just keep in mind, price is going to get you, you're going to get what you pay for. So if you want to cover distance, you're going to have to buy a UV light that is a strong enough voltage, wattage, to be able to create the fluorescence from any type of distance. So in especially shortwave, you could expect to spend a couple few $100s or more, depending on how far away you want that. So just keep that in mind, and it's not something you'll find at a home goods store. They don't carry that type of equipment. Plus, remember, it is the more dangerous one. Okay, so good luck with that. Let me know about that, and let me know when you do ship that box. Okay, so we have Miss Kathleen saying it was great to see me on TV again. She had actually bought from the Gem Collector Show, and I remember it was an aquamarine ring, and she had finally it took some time to find the right GIA gemologist that could appraise it for her, and I can't remember exactly what I sold it to her for, but I know it was a really good value. It came back appraised for over $15,000, and that's not a GIA, appraiser from Gem Shopping or anything. That's just an independent appraiser, like we tell people to get and look into. And I don't think that aqua ring could have been more than a couple $1,000s. So great job. I knew it was a super value, and I'm glad to see you get it. She also has a sapphire that she's having the origin done on. So Miss Kathleen, I really want to know about that one. You got to tell me how the outcome of that is for origin. So wow, that's a more expensive cert to get origin. So I'll be really curious to know that. And if you have the item number of that piece, I would love to have that so I can look up exactly what item that was. I have an idea, but that would help because I want to follow your story on that. So thank you for the comment there. And like I said, I'm editing out parts that really don't apply now. And then I want to get to our goods anyway. So then we have Mr. Brad. We have Mr. Brad. So let me read this. To Shawn, Asif Latif, the Christie Keeper, the Raven, alias Miss Kim, and the whole Rock family, Happy New Year and happy birthday to Shawn. Thank you so much. By the time all of you see me again, I will be a year older. I'll be 64. Not afraid to say my age. I think I'm younger than my body feels at times, but I still have a head of hair. It's all mine. It's not dyed, and it keeps growing. Can't beat that, right? Like I describe myself, I'm just an old hippie, artisan, grizzled prospector. And what you see is what you get. So thank you for the birthday wishes. I hope you all were able to enjoy the blessings of family for the holidays that last well into the new year. I saw the Raven and Asif's holiday video montage. Nice job, Asif, capturing a rare appearance for us bird watchers. That's really cute, Brad. I read that to Raven, and she really liked that. And a fitting tribute to GSN's founder. My condolences to the whole GSN staff on Frank's passing. And for people like Asif, for myself, I go like this, like Raven sitting over here, but she always used to be on my right side for 9 years on the Monday overnight show, so I still feel her presence there. Even though she's still right there, just on the other side of a wall, instead of sitting there in person as my personal attendant and product coordinator. So she would love to play when Frank would bring his dog. She was just a big dog lover, and Frank was too. And so I was the last vendor that Frank accepted into the Gem Shopping family before the business was sold. So it was, I owe me being here to Frank, and I was still doing his high-end stone setting and working with his company, which with Claude, I'll continue to do so as the business will continue on, as it should. So as his legacy, Gem Shopping. Asif does really good at putting things together to commemorate people and events. I also commend, Asa, for modeling rings in the great gemstone presentation. Great cuticles, man, and not a bad effort modeling earrings in a pinch either. You have the lobes for it. I watched it. We watched that, Raven and I from home, and we both had a laugh. But yeah, I mean, I certainly better ears than I have. So my prayer is that 2025 will bring a great year filled with hope and optimism, rich in storied treasures and treasured stories. Brad, you have said it beautifully. Thank you. Very kind. There's no trivia to give out, so I'll be right back in a moment with the first item of the show. Nothing like starting off with the first item of the first show of the new year with an item out of 7.5 years that you have never seen before, that I've never shown. Actually, I don't think in the 17 years that I've been showing and hosting and presenting here at Gem Shopping that I've ever shown you what you're going to see. This is so cool. What you're looking at is a natural fossil box. Everything you're looking at is completely natural. So many millions of years ago, 100 million years or more. So what you're looking at is gastropods, type of snails. These, by type of species, they can and radio carbon dating and whatnot, they can tell that the age. But anyway, what happens, how you get this kind of concentration of fossils is you may get all of a sudden a volcanic explosion, which the Earth went through a very volcanic period of time for millions and millions of years. And all of a sudden, all the ash comes down, and all the little creatures and crustaceans get wiped out at one time. And this ash settles onto the seafloor bed. Then more ash piles on top, cutting off the oxygen to them. That is the key to petrified wood, to fossilization, almost always is to cut off oxygen to the creature or the organic item that is going to be either petrified, opalized, fossilized, etc. So then nature after that does its thing. Sand builds on top. Weight and pressure can do everything from alter the surface of an ammonite from calcite to aragonite, giving you multiple layers for light to disperse, giving you that beautiful pattern that you find in the gem ammolite. What happened here, and they actually, like the Fernbank Museum here in Atlanta, Georgia, their entire floor is with this type of material, not this high a quality and density. What you're looking at, and see, that's me. I don't even care what's inside. What I love to look at is what is the outside, what makes this up. These are natural. There is nothing fake. Everything that you're looking at is the way when the cutter polished this slab of material. This is the way the snails, the gastropods, were oriented. And now here is the really neat thing. Those of you, since we were just speaking about fluorescence, this is amazing because of calcite. Calcite almost, not always, but almost always will fluoresce. All of this darker material you're seeing, this translucent material in each of these, and you can see that in almost all of these, you see some of that darker tan, what looks more translucent. Every bit of that will fluoresce an amazing greenish blue. And let me just see something here for a moment. I've been trying to do this for years and years. It's so strong that I was seeing if we couldn't pick it up here again. And as usual, the light just does not catch the fluorescence. But all of that will fluoresce. It is a stunning for display of fluorescence. You actually even have some calcite crystals in when you catch the light on some of these. There are multiple different species. If you're into fossils, you can spend a lot of time looking at exactly what type of species these. Look at this. That looks like a rattlesnake tail. Yeah. Those of us in the South that have come upon them. Yeah, you have a country farm there, so I know you have seen them, and I have come upon them when I lived in Florida, running through the palmetto bushes. Thank goodness for that rattler, because that's the only thing that usually saved me. Now, as you can see, every side of this, and who knows what else. Oh, there's the other thing, sponges. So let me see if I can find a sponge to help you identify what they look like. They're much harder to tell. They end up looking kind of like a worm trail or a worm. So this, I think, is like the remnant of a sponge. And but look how big some of these gastropods are, the snails. Okay, now let's get to the cool thing is, it's a set of dominoes. Now, for those of you, yeah, isn't that neat?
That is.
Yeah, that is cool. Now, do you play dominoes? You know how to play dominoes? I do not. I do not. And it's something that I wish I did. So they have this really packed in here nicely so that nothing is, well, I'll mess it up. No, anyway, just to show you how look at this. So for you domino lovers, isn't that cool? Look at that set. How did you learn how to play dominoes?
My grandmother used to play it, so we played it together.
Your grandmother taught him. That's so cool. And you never know. My mom taught me how. It was my mom that taught me how to play chess. My dad knew how and all, but my mom taught all of us 6 children how to play chess. It was a long time before we could get to where we could beat her. My brother was president of the chess club. We were quite involved with chess for a while and grew up really. I enjoyed the game of chess. But dominoes I always thought was cool, just to knock them down. Here's the neat thing. Look at this particular domino. This particular domino, I love it. You can see how using the shell right there through it, and is going to have, this could be a sponge because you've got some other organic looking items there. All this, that calcite will glow beautiful. So anyway, I could talk about it forever. I only have one of these, and it's the only one I've ever had in all the years. I don't know if I can even get another one. And I actually tried, I know this particular one is many, 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 many years old. I didn't even see it where they offered another one like this anywhere online. It's the only one. Now, here is the other thing. There's a big difference in the quality of fossil stone. Now, this fossil stone is a calcium-based, and so it's not something, in other words, if you put acid on it, it would bubble it up and damage it, damage the polish. They do put it's a real polish, but I think there's also some kind of finish on it as well. But it is a genuine, actual, natural polish they bring up. It's beveled edges. This is a really well-made piece. I was just looking at that and for a moment to see if the top actually correlated to the bottom, which would be almost impossible to do. So I don't think it does, no. But look at the shell. It's really, really, look at that. We didn't even spin it around to see how big that is. You can start seeing critters here, and like unusual ones, like look, 2 big eyes there. There's a mouth behind it. You know, some of those weird creatures. This is what we do in our show. Look at that. Looks like another one with eyes, and there's a big droopy mouth. Anyway, have fun with this. Only one I have. If you want to be, especially if you have dominoes and have the domino set that no one else will have, this is the one for you. And of course, remember, with this show being recorded, there's never any negotiation or ability to negotiate. So I always bring the prices down to the lowest price because I don't want to have to show it again to move it. So right now, I'm not really sure even where my price list is, but I'm going to make it a wonderful opportunity. Let's make that for you. $168. $168. Yeah, you can look at the crystal. See, there's not a hole in there, but that's a crystal reflecting. Oh, yeah. Yeah, see that? And then we catch the light on it, and you're going to see that. So those are, see that? It's solid. So it's not like a hole. Those are calcite crystals that are intergrown into each other. It's just amazing workmanship, just amazing workmanship in the whole piece. And there's none of it that is not fossil stone. And the lid fits really, really well and tight. And if there's any wobble like that you see, it's only because of the styrofoam won't allow that to come all the way down. I actually put something in between the two so that they don't rub together before whoever gets that piece gets to own it. Okay, let's go. We got lots to do. Let's look at item 1, 2, 3, 8624. Again, some pieces that some items that you won't have seen. Let me know if you don't have that. Awesome. Got it? Awesome. Latif doing great. And just thought we'd have to play some catch up here. Look at this. Here's another item we have not shown in this show much of at all. Now, here is where things like this matter. The quality. This is labradorite. And I have taught you already about labradorite, so this should be a quick, easy lesson. Of course, the more labradorescence, the better. The rarest color, purple. Now, it might be a really obtuse or oblique angle that you have to turn it to find some or all the colors. Look at that. See the patterns. That's more of a rainbow there. You turn it like that, you don't see that, but the colors are there. See that? That's what matters. I almost have all of mine in the house oriented with the light coming through some type of window. Now, this has been polished on all sides. It is actually cleverly done. So when I saw things, and this is where the Raven claimed long ago, she first gets the crumbs, all the little pieces that might fall off another specimen. But then she gets the butts. I'm just going to say it. Yep. That is the end cut to a mineral specimen. So, in other words, this has been sawed, so this self-displays perfectly. See that angle? It is balanced perfectly. So that little slice that I would have done at home from the 90-degree angle, see that little wedge? She would get it. She would claim it. And then, at first I said, okay, well, I didn't realize she's got a huge box of these cool little end slices now from all the years of me doing that. And there's actually value there. So anyway, I let her have her fun. So you can see on the backside, the labradorescence going all the way through. Labradorescence mostly is a lamellar effect, a lamination effect. So it is because of the layers in one particular direction. So oftentimes you'll get, if they're on the front side, the color, you'll get them on the back side, but you may not get it always on this angle. In this case, I see color on every face. Look at that. That has been polished. So really a nice piece of labradorite, and the way the crystals have grown. And yes, this is all going to be intergrown crystals of a plagioclase, which is a potassium feldspar. So just like garnets have different families, so do the feldspar. So here we go. This piece, a wonderful, wonderful display item, and something I am going to make as reasonably priced as I can. Remember, quality is everything. If you do not have a piece of labradorite with this kind of color, look at that. See how I turned that? You know, I got to thinking this might be the one that actually had purple when I turned it at a really obtuse angle, a sharp angle. And this is always a hint when you have a beveled edge like that, that maybe the lapidary saw something and cut it. Look at, there we go. There we go. That was the giveaway. That little angle, he was searching for the plane, the level, the angle that this labradorescence is on. And that's what, you know, because in other words, why wouldn't he just keep the whole face flat when we have that bevel edge? He didn't need it for balance or anything. That's what tipped me off to maybe turn this at some different angles to see what he was looking for and trying to find that. And he still may have found it. I just haven't turned it at the right angle, because that's the fun of it. I could spit, especially with the big screen TV I have to look at. Look at, see, that's what he's done here. See on the backside? That's what he was chasing right there. That is a great artist in him. For polishing something this simple, it takes knowledge, and it is an artisan that would have had to do this. I give him that title, because to bring out these things, you have to know the stone. The stone often, as they say, will speak to you. And so that was a artisan listening indeed. So very cool. I'll let you explore the rest of it, because there is more to be found in that piece. I'll let you be the one to find it. Here we go, $138 on that. Only $138 on that. Let me show you. Here is item number 123 8524. 123 8524. I like the way the natural, look at this, the natural angles have been cut on the bottom. Look at that. Isn't that, see that? So here's the bottom because I can tell you didn't polish it. Okay, so we can start with that. And angled back, beveled back. See, I look at the lapidary work before I even look at the quality of the piece. Now, look at that. Look at that sea of blue and yellow across the entire face. That makes it more valuable. And you just have to understand the material so that you can, if you are one that, looks around, price shops, goes to the internet, well, you know what? That's where you can go wrong. The internet. I mean, Asif has seen me do comparisons and educate people on that part of how easy, even at my level of knowledge, and I'll do a demonstration. I actually have the item about my rip-off, how I got ripped off in Morocco on a Galena geode. Story to come later. So this, you can actually see the entire sides the way we show it and bring it to you and tell you about the piece. And it is amazing, amazing to get that whole face of color like that. That adds a value. Then there's a secondary value that a lot of people don't notice, that there often will be there it is, that silver sheen. You see that glow? All those little dots, that is another desirable reflection in the piece. Now here, remember I said lamellar, like laminated formation, so you often won't get it on the sides, and this one appearing to be somewhat like that, but let's see on the back, boom, there it is. And a completely different purple, there it is. Yeah. There's the elusive purple up in that corner. This pattern, very desirable. It's a beautiful pattern. Then look at this, with that streak of blue coming through there like that, like just a, I don't know, it almost has a dragon look to it against this backdrop. And then the purple, that's just amazing. So, who knows what other angles that could be turned to find what other colors. Now, let's see. Now, often when you see this kind of formation, it won't have color, but let's see if the lapidary was able to bring out anything in there. Beautiful, beautiful blues. You have this silver sheen, and there is color. Look at now going to green. Let's check some other obtuse angles on this. And again, that is the fun. I won't take it all away from you. Go hunting for that purple. Go hunting for that purple. This is a large specimen, and again, all you have to do is set this at an angle where the sun comes through and hits that. And even as, you can see, even as the sun moves, this gives you an idea by me turning it, so will that pattern change, and the sunlight makes it even stronger and better. This is a large heavyweight display piece, and I'm going to offer it for only $228. Only $228 on that, and that is a lot of gem quality look. Labradorite used in high-end jewelry now has become really quite popular in the good quality stuff. Now, here is something. Let's look at the last of the labradorites we're going to feature, and that is item 1238724. 1238724. This can be something actually functional, but again, what a neat display, paperweight, whatever you may want to call it, to have. Look at this. A bowl. Yep. You could eat out of it if you wanted to. Labradorite is completely safe, by the way, chemically, to do such things. Let me see. Oh, there's my red marker. I have my marker out when I do that. Drive off nuts. Look at this. Look at this. Now, you have to be brave with a piece of labradorite, because when you go and cut a bowl at these kind of angles, you do not know exactly how it's going to affect the labradorescence, and you could ruin a piece of labradorite. So let's see if if he ruined it or if there is color in there, and I would say he did not ruin it. There is color to be found. Look at the deep blues. As it comes up the side, you get a different pattern there. Look at that. As I rotate that around, let's keep going with that, and let's see where that takes us. Wow, as you see all these other colors, and then let me bring it. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Let me bring that and light that up. Look at these. Look at the little reflections you get there. Those are really cool when I see that. It looks like a starry night sky. And then we have color on the sides. This is a heavy piece and has a lot of reflections. See, this makes me wonder when I see that beveled angle back there, what he was chasing. I'm getting it. I'm close. There it is. Ah, look at this. Here it is. Here's the one when you see the actual crystal shape in the reflection. You look at these angles. So those type of angles and exact angles similar to each other, that is not a coincidence in nature. No, that is going to be the crystallography of the feldspar that it is relating to, and that is neat. So that is what the lapidary, the stonemason, whatever you may want to call this artisan, but that's what he was chasing, and knew was there and was looking for that. And I have a feeling that there's more to be found. Look at that. I just haven't hit the right mark. But how fun is that? How fun is that to have a piece of something like this of quality in your house for a candy dish, for a knick-knack dish on the desk where you put paper clips and all kinds of look at that things. Yeah, look, it gives you a nice large size. So anyway, opportunity on a nice large display item like this. What a deal. $278. Only $278. And that is a whole lot of rock. Okay, I'm just going to keep moving here since I have a lot to do. Let me show you a amethyst. Item number 1236-224. Let me know, Asif, if you don't have that, sir. Okay, the Congo has been known for a lot of different minerals. I mean, you think of it, it's from diamonds to copper to... Yep, that is 1, 2, 3. Oh, you're right. I think 1, 2, 3, 62, 24. I might have said an 8 instead. I did get John to make my printer darker and fixed most of my issues. Okay, so let me show you, before I show you the item, the information on it. Democratic Republic of the Congo amethyst. This is one of my own collector specimens because it's the only one I have. Amethyst from the Congo is not what you think of as a source for amethyst. That is, I couldn't help but laugh. I'm glad you snickered first, Chuck.
I'm sorry.
Congo's good enough. Not Dr. Congo. But it's a glitch in John's system. I have to put a space to capitalize that R. I have to put a space in between it. I told him about it once, and he never fixed it, but he needs to fix it. Yeah. So there's a little funny glitch in the system I found long ago. So this is one of my collector specimens, and I've kept it as mine because I do not have another one. And when you see this, you're going to recognize it as something different, something unusual, just like Asif shows. Asif wants to bring you shows that are different and unusual. And by him just presenting them himself makes it unusual and different. So all of y'all support that man. Now, this is perfect build-up and lead-up to the specimen for you to get that before you see it. Now, get ready. Drum roll time, because this will probably be the first time you have ever seen an amethyst specimen from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Check this out. Look at this. Look at that. That is like a cathedral. That is a spiral. That is, I don't know. It can be described in so many different ways because it is not normally the way you see an amethyst specimen formation.
Like a flame.
Yeah. I was trying to think. A flame is a good description of it. Well, you're getting really good there, Asif, because actually DR Congo is an internationally accepted abbreviation for Democratic Republic of the Congo. These crystals, so look at this. So this is the way they had to remove it from the wall. So this would have had to have been chiseled off or broken off a matrix. Now you get a little bit of what they call the chevron formations up here. That is where in your African amethyst, that's where you do get chevron amethyst, is from different parts of Africa, but not the Congo. Now let me show you this. All of you, if you are interested in amethyst at all, know that when amethyst has that blue tint or also reflects blue or a reddish color, then it is a really good quality and grade of amethyst. This has that shade of blue that you want to see because it is dichroic. In other words, it will be a different color with the different directions of the crystal. So when you get blue, just like in tanzanite, one angle you get a purplish color, another one a blue color. That can happen in amethyst between the different shades of purple and blues as well. So look at this as I spin it around. That is a spire, a cathedral, a monument. Look at this. Now, here's the other thing. This is one to take time to try to find an anhydro. As Asif called me, the bubble man. But in the live show, the camera isn't such that we could search them with that camera, no. And that's why Asif said, I saw the video again where he said, yeah, you can find them off in the corner. But in this show, we won't spend the time doing it, but we certainly can get close enough if you've seen to find them, if I find them ahead of time. I did not look. This is wide open for someone to find it in hydro, and they do and can occur in this material. Look at these crystals. You can see phantoms. You can see phantoms in them. And that is, again, where not just zoning, but where the angle of the crystal stops and starts. Look at the colors. These are beautifully formed, and so you have some skeletal formations here where the crystal growth is at different rates. Also, here we go. See those? You can see them in this piece. I talk about those. That is when it looks like the end of a broom, goethite, sprays of goethite crystals, and that appears to have them. Now, you can see these iron oxide growths. Some people can put them in oxalic acid. It takes some time and remove that, which in this specimen, it looks like it'd be fine. There's nothing else it would damage. So this specimen could be definitely cleaned up if someone wanted to do some specimen prep on it. Look at this. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, look how many different crystals. I mean, I'm just keep going to the bottom. And all of these, and any of these, has the potential to, like when you see like things like that, to have an anhydro bubble in it. And then you have to just hold it and turn it back and forth, and that's where the fun comes in. So you can see the different colors to the crystals. Now, here we go. We'll stand that baby back up. This is self-supporting, stands on its own, is a beautiful, 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 beautiful display piece from a unusual locality. So how about this? Also, I have the exact location where it's from, the Sanda Hills, so that's good as well. Here you go, $448. $448, one of a kind. Look at the size of those. Stunning crystals. Really, really beautiful. Take advantage of that. That is a showpiece. Okay, now, yeah, I'm going to show it now. I'm going to show it now. Why not? Since we're set up. Item 1, 2, 3, 56, 24. Make sure that's a fifth. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 56, 24. Do you have that?
Yeah.
Great. I am getting ready to show you what I have talked about for years, having a special stash of gem silica and chrysocolla specimens. And this is one of them. This is one of them. And so needless to say, it's, it's not an inexpensive item, but for what it is, it's not expensive either. You want to see something beautiful? I have it. Now let me move this for a minute and clean this off. Okay, and then let me, for, it's all about the parsley on the plate. Presentation. Here we go. Take a look as I swap one incredible color for another. Look at that. Look at that. That is an amazing specimen. If you're into chrysocolla, if you are knowledgeable about gem silica, this is the specimen for you. Also, it has the treat of having dioptase, Arizona dioptase on it. Let's explore this because this is first from the Ray mine. The Ray mine being one of the best known mines in the world for not only copper specimens, but for gem silica. Now, what is gem silica? Gem silica is basically a type of quartz or chalcedony, which is a type of quartz, that turns a greenish bluish color due to absorbing copper ions from chrysocolla that is found near it or next to it, almost always in a layer or right up, bumping up against chrysocolla. So the way you can determine it, because you can have chrysocolla right next to your gem silica and not be able to visibly actually tell the difference. And we're going to look at that in a minute, but I'm going to show you how to tell the difference. Now, look at this. So for one, the size of this. This would be considered easily a medium. Some would call it a large cabinet quality specimen. It is certainly cabinet quality, period. Now, what you have, all the little sparklies that you see, they are dioptase, and it's going to be more the greenish, bluish colors. Now, what you have also is quartz that is in all kinds of different areas. So you have banded white quartz here that is botryoidal formation. You have quartz covering over some of the dioptase. And of course, you have the quartz that's associated with the gem silica. Let's look at a side profile. This is neat because obviously a piece in extraction or just maybe earthquake or Mother Earth or whatever has broken this piece off. Now, this is not a broken piece that has been fixed. This is just natural and you can see it doesn't extend any further. So don't think of that as something that's going to fall apart. You can see it stops there as well. Now, here is what you have. You have quartz and then you have this green material. When you start looking at this, what you can do is you can take just exactly what I have and go very softly against the material. If it scratches, or if you scratch this material, all right, and then you know it is softer than your tweezers. If it's softer than your tweezers, then it is chrysocolla. So we'll look at that. And, if you leave a mark, here's the other thing. You have to make sure that it's not the metal on your tweezer that is being left on the rock because the rock is harder. Now, you can see I just made a little mark there. You can actually take your finger and the oils in your finger will actually, if you rub over that, will hide that mark. That actually scratched that. So by it scratching that tells me that's just chrysocolla. That is chrysocolla. There is not copper that has bled into a silica. That is just chrysocolla there. Now, as we keep looking around this piece, you're going to see many other different areas that alternate between quartz over the top of chrysocolla. Then the other neat thing is you have cuprite. See the red? That is cuprite. Cuprite is just a copper oxide. Here is a wonderful, I used to cut gems out of this material, which was chrysocolla and cuprite. Now it's too expensive, too desirable. It's become fashionable. But it was, you could get cabs of, it looked just like this, cuprite with that blue chrysocolla. Back in the day, I'm talking about back in the 1970s. So the backside, yeah, this material right here used to be available as cutting material. Not anymore. It's not, it's not like sold cheap where I could buy it. Along the side of here, you can continue to see why this is so sought after, because of the coloring. And then when you have the combination of the botryoidal formations along with crystalline formations, with the color, look at that. Then you come upon a little, a vug, doesn't quite describe it, pocket maybe. But down in these little openings like this is where you can find undisturbed crystals of often sometimes rare minerals that form, expect a bat to fly out of there? I know, look at that. I mean, that is an undisturbed, pristine world back in there. And if I was a little person, I could explore all these little caves. That is what makes this fun. This is why I say play with, and make fun of me if you want, but play with your rocks and minerals, because you absolutely can. You absolutely can. And now, here's the difference. Okay, so I have one light on this, right? Now, here, let me show you. So another wavelength of light, by using different wavelengths of light, you actually can get different colors and understand the mineral better. All right, so let's come over here. Here's a dark blue material. We have some chrysocolla nearby. Now let's do our little hardness test. Wow, right there. Nothing. I'm not scratching the material, and I can actually feel by the way this drags over it how soft it is. If you have something that's softer than this, oh my gosh, it like sticks. You can just feel the difference. But when it's much harder, which a 7 versus a 5.5 on hardened steel, that's enough of a difference that it just slides over it hardness wise. That is gem silica. This is gem silica. Yep, that piece too, and I can feel the hardness. That is all quartz that has been stained by the chrysocolla. Now, the chrysocolla is not far away. Here's chrysocolla. There's a layer of chrysocolla here. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Getting up to here, this is what is really rare for Arizona specimens, is to have dioptase associated with them. The Ray mine is one of the places that occurrence does happen, but it is rare on specimens from that. This specimen is many decades old. This is old material that is just very difficult to get anymore. And I have kept this for a long time. This is actually neat to see this. Okay, so what you have here, because if I don't explain all this to you right now, you'll get it home and you won't really know everything and why it is the value that it is, or what makes it so special. So if you saw this, you might think, oh, there's a piece broken off of here. No, I see this, that yes, there is, maybe it broke off, or maybe it didn't completely continue growing over. This is perfect because it shows you that you have a layer of quartz silica that has grown over. I don't want to test the hardness of this. It's either going to be gem silica or it's going to be chrysocolla. I would think that this is just your straight, pure chrysocolla in the beautiful baby blues, one of the very desirable colors. And this is where the quartz either has popped off it or didn't form over it. So yeah, that's going to be your straight, beautiful blue chrysocolla. And you can see that this wonderful botryoidal formation of the chrysocolla with a layer of silica over it. And then if there's chrysocolla on top of silica, you can get that gem silica, the color. Here, I'm sure this is gem silica as well. This is a wonderful, wonderful piece, very hard to find and get anymore. My opportunity on this one is only $598. Oh, here's a perfect. Let's go right here for a moment. $598 from the Ray mine. This shows you right here. Again, I love it when you see that separation of the layering. it is very obvious that there, that little blue right there, you can see that's classic look to chrysocolla. That is chrysocolla over the top of what looks to be silica, and then you have quartz on top of the chrysocolla in most cases. So it's layered like that. That is the way they're found and formed. Look at that. That is a stunning pattern of color and beautiful blue. The way this forms is so, so rare. You can actually see right there a quartz crystal tip, it looks like. And under higher magnification, that you can actually see those. So get that in on that price opportunity. That is one of the rare few items I have been talking about that I've had for a long, long time. Okay, let me show you a really neat best quality piece that I have. I'm offering 107-9422. 107-9422. So let me show you. This is just the way I keep it and the way you may want to keep it to protect it when you aren't displaying it. Because what you're getting ready to see, and I'm glad that you can't see the description right at the moment because there's a bit of a surprise here. Boom! This is world-class size and quality of a fulgurite. And a fulgurite is where lightning has struck sand. Now, I happen to know exactly where this has come from. There was a fellow that worked for what they call mining operation. It's a sand where they basically filter sand. And he, since the 1980s, has had this job where the old sand dunes and, you know where like your bags of play sand come from? They have to come from somewhere, right? Well, it's from a business like this that processes sand. So they have this big tumbler with these holes in it and for classifying the size. Well, over decades of working there doing that, the man knew what he was getting. He was able to collect all the fulgurites out of this huge, huge sand dune deposit, you know, especially back in eons of time ago. And it was, of course, in Florida, where it doesn't take much height to be the highest place around, and a sand dune would be that, where over eons of time, lightning has struck again and again and again and again. And this man had a large collection of these, and I was lucky to be able to get in on the people that got work directly with them, and that's why we know exactly where it came from. Now, what happens when lightning strikes? You ever hear them say that lightning is only as wide as a pencil? This is perfectly true. A lot of people wouldn't believe it because it looks so much bigger. That's how bright it is. It is so hot that it fuses sand into actually a mineral that they call, very few people can pronounce, Le Chatelier right. And I can't believe I actually just said that correctly. It is, along with trinitite, which is from the sand that the atomic bomb in New Mexico, the Trinity site, and so it was named after that site, where it took that type of heat from a nuclear test to do the same thing. Basically fuse it. Now, the outside isn't so. The outside is just sand that has clung to the glass part. Now, let's see if we can't find this, Chuck, because it is only the inside layer that is shiny will be the actual glass part. So if you go in there and focus to the inside of it there, and if I can get the light at the right angle, you will see that the inside, there we go. See how the inside is shiny and it's not just it looks like sand. It is fused together. Let's look at the other end and see if we can look inside. Maybe a little bit better. And we can. So you can see the inside, the sand, it's all perfectly smooth. And look, there's the reflection at the edge. There it is. You can see the reflection. That's what I wanted to show you. That reflection right there at the edge. That is where the sand has melted. It takes high temperature to do that. And here's the width of that's the width. It tells you right there. That is as wide as that lightning bolt was. That this particular time, that's all it was, that wide. Fusing this together. This happens to be one of the larger ones. Most of them aren't this large. And so I had kept this one in the Riker mount box for myself. If anybody wants this, again, some of them they sell. They won't go all the way through. I have actually blown through these or dropped pins through these and just make sure that they are all the way through. It's kind of really, really neat to see that and to see that shiny fused edge. So you have to know the story to be able to, because this is going to get attention. You're going to put this up. People are going to tell, they will have heard about fulgurites maybe. They will have never seen or held one. For the price I'm going to offer this for, the bang for the buck for the money would be considerable. You can see I have so many stories I want to tell you about. Let me tell you, a lightning bolt hit in the back of my yard in North Georgia one time, right? And I even knew the tree. I saw it. It split the bark all the way down to the ground. And me, being the rock hound, thinking, that's it. I'm going to find my fulgurite, finally. My own fulgurite at the base of this tree. Well, I'm sorry. Georgia clay doesn't make fulgurites. Yeah, no. Georgia clay, all it does is harden Georgia clay the same way the sun might harden it. No special nothing. It was a big disappointment. But of course, I took that same clay from my backyard, and actually it was miner's clay that I had dug up and where the gold was laying on it like bedrock. I crudely formed it in my hand for about 30 seconds and made a bowl out of it. It was blue. The clay was actually blue. They call it miner's clay. And it's so thick, you don't have to do anything to it. I molded it with my hand. I put it in my casting oven, and I heated it. I'm not a pottery person, even though I always wanted to be. I didn't know what temperature. I just heated it. It turned classic, beautiful Georgia red color and was hard. I thought right then, no wonder the Native Americans were great at fashioning bowls and pottery because they had the working material. They only had to adjust the clay versus silica type mixtures, whatever they do, a little bit, and they had a working, usable material. So I wonder what they thought about. What would they use something like that? Maybe their first straw? Maybe the first straw ever done was a fulgurite. All right, here we go. Enough telling you about an item that I'm offering for only, which I don't even know, $88. $88. You know it's going to be an auspicious number. Asif likes that as well. People that end things in nines. Why a 9? Use a lucky 8 or 7. It's less than 9 anyway. So right there starts you off showing you it's better luck than... So anyway... I probably put the top on this the wrong way. All right. What I have to show you next, I probably need to take a moment to do. I'll be right back. All right. This has been a treasure for some time. And of course, no matter what faith you are, I think everyone is familiar with, to some point, with Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin, it's spelled many different ways, so don't get caught up in anything thinking that it's misspelled. And every different Asian nation has their own kind of version of her. But she's a bodhisattva in the Buddhist faith. A bodhisattva is one level below Buddha. It is, let's say, if it was a Catholic faith, it would be considered like a saint. Relative. That's what bodhisattva is, regardless of what Steely Dan song says about it. There's me going back to the 70s, so you probably know the song now, Bodhisattva. And so a bodhisattva is considered a very high level of deity. And she is known as the goddess of mercy and goddess of purity. And that is why she is depicted so many times holding a lotus blossom that you see here, or the lotus flower. Now the lotus flower, here's the other thing. Let me show you the back. The entire carving of the back is a lotus, the lotus leaf, the lotus base that you can see. Now, what happens at night, out of the mud and out of all this impure substance, the lotus flower will spring up out of the mud and bloom into the cleanest, most stunning color that the word padparacha comes from. from the color of the lotus blossom. And if you ever actually see one, it really represents a true pinkish peach color or a peachy pink color, kind of right in that range, even though I've seen ones be certified as paparacha and I see nothing but pink. You do want the visible signs of a orange, of a sunset is what they say. Just look and go to looking at the color of a, lotus blossom and you're going to see that. So the lotus blossom is revered and the symbol of purity because out of the mud rises this immaculately clean, stunning flower. And hence the symbol of purity. Now, she is often depicted with a crown that you see on her. In this particular one, and that's to show her noble status. Other times you'll see a willow branch, and I've seen that oftentimes depicted with her, and that is representative of the flexible strength that she uses it for the spiritual blessings. And sprinkle people with the divine nectar that would come from a vase that is often depicted her shown with also. And that is what the meaning of the vase is, holding the divine nectar that she will spread up evenly upon everyone. And that is when you see her depicted, which I have too, this, with 1,000 arms and legs, not literally 1,000, but depicted with lots of arms and legs coming from her, that is representative of how fair and equal she is in spreading to all levels and castes of people this divine nectar. The lotus blossom, besides representing purity, is also represents enlightenment and spiritual awakening because of the way the flower awakens from the mud. So that also represents transcendence of suffering. So remember, she's the goddess of mercy. So she's really, really revered, and almost every home you go into will have Kuan Yin. Now, for those of you who have been watching me for some time, and I'm proud of my heritage, and it's simple as that. My mom was born in Shanghai, China, and she was half Chinese. I'm 1/4 Chinese. A lot of people would not know that because I think the German and Irish heritage from my very Irish Catholic grandmother divorced my very wealthy grandfather, my Chinese grandfather, before pre-communist China. He owned 7 square city blocks in Shanghai. My mom, up until the age of 7, was brought up with summer homes, servants, all the wealth that you can imagine in early China. And they lost it all. Communists arrested my grandfather, put him under house arrest for 50 years, and took everything. So my mom, though she was #1 wife, remember in the Chinese culture at the time, was highly revered to be #1 wife, but he had 6 others. Truly, but that was a sign of wealth, 6 other concubines. And of course, my Irish grandmother she could only put up with 4. I don't know what number it was, but by the time it was that, she was done. She divorced him, moved back to Kankakee, Illinois as a pauper. And my mom, not able to speak any English, but of course, very industrious, ended up graduating with a major in drama, which she used all her life, her ability to speak. And maybe I got some of that from her. I got a lot from her. So I bring all this up to you because I was brought up in my home with wonderful objects of art, Asian objects of art, Chinese objects of art that I really didn't know, like a demi-tasse set that was all carved in jade. My mom set these out. They ended up getting broken, but she enjoyed them. Even with 6 children, I honored her for the fact that she just didn't put them away and wrap them up. She enjoyed them. Yes, yes, each family member got one of these objects of art. Mine is a Blanc de Chine porcelain Kuan Yin. Yep. That's what, oddly enough, I got. She has a Blanc de Chine porcelain, which is really high-grade porcelain. And my brother got the demi-tasse, which is half cup. Jade bowl, jade plate. I really wanted that, but that's okay. Jade spoon and jade cup, 6 of them. And they were, they're broken. Not all of them, but different pieces are. But I remember him being out on the credenza every day and her enjoying her heritage and honoring that by not just putting them up. And I thought that was marvelous. So what if they got broken? They were just always going to be family pieces anyway. And I have the memory of growing up with those. My sister, my younger sister, who passed away 2 years ago, she got the ivory carved horses, 8 of them, each in a different position with the different bases. They were about each 2 inches long. Stunning little things. And there were some of those broken, but I remember those being out. So I have to hand it to her. But there was always a Kuan Yin. We always had a Kuan Yin of some sort. We actually had 2 lamps matching that had Kuan Yin's head. Kuan Yin. So there's my little heritage story. This piece is a stunning piece because let me show you the rest of it. Look at the wood base is cool enough, right? The iris. There is a stunning, and Chuck is going to show it to us. There is an iris in this piece. So let's see. That is phenomenal. A incredible reflection of color in the base of this, and it is really remarkable. Look at that. See, it just gets better. It just gets better, and it's one of the. Look how it radiates up into this piece, and it is all the way in this piece. I love the fact that the carver was still able to incorporate that into the piece and not carve it away. Yeah. Yeah. It does. It does. It goes all the way up in here. It looks almost like the labradorescence. That is a remarkable and impressive iris in its size and its intensity of color. Let me just try another angle of light on this. And look at that. Look at that. That is what, for me, I love the material. I love the material. Now, the carving is amazing, but the material really makes it something special. And let's do one more. And look at that. I mean, you look at that and you don't see where anything would create a reflection. And then you get that look. That's stunning. So anyway, look at the rest of the carving. Look how well this is done using the frosted finish, even the lips. That is all using whether it's polished or not polished or a matte finish. Stunning. There's the lotus blossom. Here is the other hand, the feet, the iris, and then the big lotus flower on the backside with the wood base. All right, only $328. Only $328. That is exceptional. Exceptional piece of material used, and what a beautiful item. All right, now we got some big stuff. Let's go through and probably quickly here. Okay, we still got some time. That's good. I didn't know how long I was yakking, which can be any amount of time. Okay, let's take a look. Hopefully some of these are in the system. Item 1187224. Now, because the reason I say that is all these are new. You won't have seen these much at all, I don't think. Maybe some. Do you have that one? I think you should. Yep. Take a look. Now, here is a piece that you can afford. If you're looking for the that malachite look with the banded chrysocolla, here it is. This is completely natural. Now, this is from the Inspiration Mine. Now, the Inspiration Mine is in Arizona as well. It is the other really well-known mine for producing specimens like this. And in this one, you can see you have the banding of the chrysocolla and the malachite. Now, what is this missing compared to the other one? What do you not see? Well, for one, you don't see any shiny little dioptases, but what's the other thing? I don't see quartz. I don't see that layer of quartz. If you don't have that layer of quartz, you can't have gem silica. So guess what? All this, even though there's chrysocolla involved, it is all chrysocolla. Maybe there's some malachite mixed in, but mostly it is all your multiple colors of chrysocolla, which can range in all your greens and into your beautiful blues. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the banding. That in itself makes for a wonderful specimen. Look at the way that is. So this is double-sided. So when you look at this, so it would have been attached to the wall here, it looks like. Look at back in there. See what I'm talking about little pockets? Look at those crystals in there. Now that is going to get me too curious and bring out the dusty old, let's look in there. Let's look in there. Wow. Look at that. That is a miniature cave. Look at that. And then it goes even further in there. I love rocks. I just can't help myself. That is Mother Nature's magnificence. All right, there's some more chrysocolla down there. And this is affordable. Let's make that piece for everybody only $68. Only $68 on that. A wonderful, wonderful example of Inspiration Mine material, and very, very difficult to get anywhere near that price. Now, let's look at item 1240-124. 1240-124. What I'm getting ready to show you, you have not seen before. You know that I work with a fellow that is specializes in Georgia minerals and has mined almost every place there is any, including being able to get in on the very desirable locality of Graves Mountain. Graves Mountain, Georgia. Graves Mountain, Georgia is listed as one of the most prolific mining sites for the number of minerals in one locality. It's been said that they've counted 150 different minerals discovered at Graves Mountain, which is only out towards Augusta, Georgia. And they still make it accessible. This piece was cut directly from a piece mined by my friend. And you can only mine it still by hand. So this was all mined by hand and then sawed. Look at this. Those are crystals of lazulite in quartzite. And lazulite in quartzite, you can see the wonderful crystal formation to the piece. And you cut cabochons, and I've had them before, out of the material. So you could cut cabochons using that and around it. Now, the host rock that it's in, if you notice, is quartzite with pyrite. So it's quartzite and with little, see all those little tiny, those are all little flakes of pyrite, fool's gold. And it's really attractive. There's an old tag. This is an old piece, Graves Mountain lazulite in quartzite. You could easily polish this if you wanted to, or you can do that cheesy spray polish like I do, and it works just fine for creating a look. You can look at that. You can see how translucent that material is. And look at, now you can really see the pyrite sticking out. All those little dark spots are the pyrite. Boy, you can really actually see them, the crystal form of them even. Huh. Very cool. All right, so I have this for a wonderful deal, $48. $48, and what a great, great old-time classic specimen from a world-renowned locality, Graves Mountain. Let's look at item 1246.24. 1246.24. Now, this is something I've had for actually decades, and you would think normally it's not that big of a deal, but when I get to showing this to you a little better, you're going to realize just how unusual to find something of this quality. Look at this. These are sapphire cabochones. Now, what makes these absolutely unusual and bizarre? Well, because they're facet grade quality, and they weren't faceted. Hold on, let me put that slab up as I should, as a someone that should respect these wonderful Mother Nature's treasures. Okay, so with these cabochones, that's the deal. I got these when I was in Kanchanaburi, Thailand in 1992. I remember exactly when, how, what, and big, cool, long story to the whole experience, but that's for another day. I went along the old Japanese railway that the Burma Railway, they called it, which is a historically famous area for World War II historians. And we actually walked it using a metal detector, and I actually found the old railway spikes. They pulled the railway up long ago, but the bed was still down there. Many, many, many Allied prisoners of war died building that railway. So lots of other stories to it. But to Kanchanaburi, gemologically wise, the Boploy mine. The Boploy mine outside of there. I went out there to the area on a motor scooter, wound up at a party with Mekong whiskey involved, and we'll leave it at that. It was a marvelous experience until the hot pot they served me had eyes looking back at me and sea cucumbers, and luckily it was spiced so hot that it didn't matter what was in there, I couldn't taste it anyway. And I had to eat it because to them, it was like a luxurious thing. They brought out this, hot pot, they call it. And all this stuff floating around in it. And, fish eyeballs looking back up at me, which didn't freak me out or anything, but I was expected to get a bowl full of it. Now, the one thing that did was the sea cucumbers. I didn't even know it was a thing, but it's a thing. It didn't matter after some Mekong whiskey. I got more to that story, but we'll end it there. These stones, great shot there, Mr. Chuck, while I'm yapping on with my head hung down thinking of those days. All right, these are, look at the clarity. Look at the clarity. I'm not going to take them out. They're going to be too inexpensive to even bother doing that. They are 6x4s. They're polished on the backside. See, the gym guy in me just can't help myself but to give you the full tour, even as inexpensive. Look at that. There we go. That's what I want to show you. By the way, these are the tweezers also you need to use. You see that cut in them, that groove, yep. The color of those. Now, that color is not a color found in Thai sapphires. There is a distinct difference, and that's how most of you can tell them apart if you get them loose. This is a very valuable color, and it's more common to be found in the more valuable Madagascan sapphires. So just a little extra tidbit there for you. Opportunity? I've got an opportunity because I'm offering these at only $50 a carat, rounding down, make it $75. Only $75 for the pair. $75. That's only $50 a carat, and they're cabochon. So now remember, if you want, like Mr. Anthony who facets, all you have to do is flip them upside down. They make great preforms. In other words, the bottom of this belly becomes the bottom of a faceted sapphire, and the top is the table and the crown. Being the backside of these, you lose very little weight, and it would be a incredibly bright, brilliant blue sapphire you would wind up with. That to get the rough to cut something like that would cost a small fortune if you could even find it. So better to recut one of these, which would be really neat to have one. You wouldn't have to change the diameter, remember, just a very thin girdle. So you would have one cabochon and have a matching one faceted. That would be actually a neat idea to to do that, to have two of them like that. And remember also, back going to the Kuan Yin for a moment, if you saw the abbreviation or what I used for rock crystal, in case you never knew exactly what that rock crystal meant, when you use that term, rock crystal is a better, higher quality grade of quartz. So that's when you can use rock crystal. It's kind of when they say, leaded glass that has added leaded to it. If you ever wondered why leaded glass is so heavy, it's because they actually literally do add lead to the glass mixture, but that's what gives it its higher dispersion, and why, as in chandeliers and whatnot, it's more valuable to have leaded glass crystal because of the brilliance. But you do have to keep them dusted. All right, so only $75 on that. Let's go to this next item. It's item 1240-524. 1240-524. This, again, very cool item. You could fasten them if you want, or you could just leave them be. Take a look. Speaking of amethyst, which we were earlier, look at these guys. Now, the most exciting thing, I think, is what some people may not like. Look at that. I love the color division and the zoning in that. Also, look at the blue, that rich blue color we were talking about earlier. That certainly has it. These are certainly cabochon quality. They could be faceted if you wanted to, but I like that that bicolor look to that one with the, let me get the light on there, with the two colors like that. I think that's kind of a neat little addition. So anyway, something for everybody indeed, because how about these for $38 for the pair? Only $38 for the pair. Yep, that's the Gem Collector Show. A deal for everyone. Now, let me put this up real quick. Okay, next. Wait till you see what I have for you next. Now, this is going to step it up a little bit. So actually, it'll take a moment. So let me have a moment. I'll be right back with an amazing item. This is the largest that you have ever seen of what it is you're looking at right now. So if that made sense. I don't know whether you would call it museum, call it a world class, whatever. It's there. It is certainly world class, and a museum would be proud to have it. Here's the thing that I always say that's so important, and why you need to know millimeters, 25.4 millimeters to an inch. You need to know the metric system, because a lot of minerals are described metrically, size-wise. But if nothing else, the good old hand works better than anything for relative size. That is so important. Look at this. When I do that, all of a sudden the specimen could take on a whole new meaning. It could actually be this big. And you know what? When I see these auctions for mineral specimens, and I see these mineral specimens, even on the cover of magazines and stuff, they look magnificent and huge. Then I go and look up how big of an area they're actually photographing, and it is usually very small and disappointing. It's not the big mammoth-sized specimen that I thought. Only Miss Gabby has those that are actually genuine. So this has been a specimen that I had to work with for a long time to get it, because this was actually hand dug by my friend at Graves Mountain, and it is the largest of its kind that he dug. Now, you can dig rutile crystals that might be shinier, sharper edges, better individual quality, but never has there been anything a large size of that has the dynamic crystals as well. Maybe at some point there's been one that they found, but I tell you what, this, by way of the size of the crystals alone and the number of them, constitutes a level of quality seldom ever seen, and certainly not dug up at Graves Mountain anymore. Look at this. Look at the rutile crystals. They are large, plentiful. You can see, look at this. That's a twin. There's a twinned crystal right there. One of the classic shapes that you want to find in a, here's another one. See that shape to that crystal? That is a classic form for that. These are some beauties, and this has had no specimen prep. You could certainly improve it if so desired. Now, there is mica, so it's like a mica schist that now rutile, remember, and we're going to try in a moment to see if we can catch any red edges, but you can actually see the red in this rutile itself. And that's why you get the reds in this. So you have muscovite mica that is picking up red colors either from iron oxide or from the rutile itself. So that's what you're going to be seeing here. And then you have quartz. So it's pretty simple. There's nothing real complicated. Now, who knows? It could be since Graves Mountain is known for many, many rare species, there could be some, but that would take some close looking, and that's the fun to it. So here's coming around the back side of this, you can see all this wonderful rutile and these crystals that make it up. Now, we spin it back around, and I haven't used any stand with this, so it self-displays wonderfully. And look at that. Look at that. Okay, it's heavy, 3,750 grams. Remember, there is, remember your grams to pounds. So 454 grams to a regular pound, not a troy pound. And you use a regular pound when you're weighing minerals, as opposed to weighing metals where you use the troy system. But we won't get into that either. Stunning, stunning representation of a Georgia mineral. If you collect any Georgia minerals at all, this, for the amount of money. Now, this piece, put up at one of these auctions or by one of the big dealers that would be the one carrying something like this, I know the range that this would be offered at would really reflect the rarity of it is. And I'm talking about a price range on this in the $7,000 range, so let's just put $7,000 up there, would not be unreasonable at all, because it's one of those that you could say, go find another one. Okay, so if you want to dispute the price with somebody, or if you want to say, oh, I can get that cheaper, all right, well, show me where you can get something like that cheaper. Show me where there's another specimen this size. Compare. Let's see. There won't be one. And if there would be, you would find $7,000 probably to be a reasonable price. Because I got this directly from the man that mined it. And if you want well, I'm going to show you another piece that will give you his name. He has a former owner of the Diamond Hill mine, and he wrote up a peer-reviewed publication in the mineralogical record, and I'm going to show you that in a minute on another specimen. So he's actually a neuroscientist, retired from University of Georgia, and he is a rock hound all the way, a huge quartz digging fan who has dug at everywhere from Charlie's Creek, swapping out bulldozer work that the Forest Service needed for an opportunity to dig at Charlie's Creek with equipment. That was like crazy trade-off. But this is the kind of things he's worked. So this came directly from him. It had to be hand dug. So we don't have all those other people involved asking for their side of the profit. This was a specimen. He knows I'm offering it for sale because he had offered it at a special opportunity for me, and I'm turning around and I need to sell it. I just need to sell it, and I can't keep it any longer. So, before a tear comes to my eye, I'm going to give you the price on it, the lowest that I can offer this for. And that's only $1,888. $1,888. Lots of lucky 8s in there. Rutile, titanium dioxide. Let me just see if we can go in for a moment and see, Chuck, how close you can get, and see if I can show you any red edges to this. Because rutile is known, like when it forms in quartz, to be reddish material oftentimes. And so they, you can look at this. It'll have a metallic reflection because of its titanium dioxide. There, so when you see, here we go, when you see little pieces like that, let me get a, this is how you can see the actual colors in it. When you see little growths like that, that you can see the transparency to the red. So if you actually saw this in really thin slices, that red color tone would become, there we go, there's the red. There's the red down that whole side right there. So look at that. There, look at that. Look at that gemmy red right there. So there we go. That's what I was looking for. Just enough to show you just how actually red this material is, helping to add additional value to it. Indeed. Good job there, Chuck, on the camera work. All right. So take advantage of that price. You can probably hear from my voice that this is a special piece, a special situation, but it is going from the man that mined it straight to you. And what a treasure that would be to have. All right. Yeah, you're probably looking at those items behind me. And I probably need to get to them, but let me show you something else for a moment. Item 1240, 424. 1240, 424. Because I like to carry something for everyone by way of dollar value. And that rutile piece, the other nice thing, it's just not going to fall apart. It is rock solid, so to speak. All right, I'll clean that off in a minute. But in the meantime, let me get a look at this. So we were talking about garnets. We were talking about red. We were talking about how, look at that. Austin did a special on garnets in his show. And here are 3 Tanzanian rhodolites. Now, this is the rhodolite I like. The rhodolite with the purple color tone to it. It should have, to me, a little bit of purple. There are garnets they're calling rhodolites that look like, you know, just straight up red almandines. And that's not right. So here are 3 nice match stones. And at an excellent, excellent value. Rhodolite is part pyro, and it needs to be about 30% or more almandine, which is your iron garnet. You can check for the iron composition by a magnet. And I'm not going to go through that to do that for you because, believe me, just use a neodymium magnet and you will get the magnetic attraction to it. All right, I have this for you at a discounted opportunity. All 3 stones for only $88. Only $88 on those. Those you could probably basically say are sale priced. Now, let me show you, whoa, look at this. Item 1240-224. I was going to show this when I found the piece of rough that it came out of, but I'll still get the piece of rough if someone else buys it and show you. This was a hidden gem inside a piece of rough I got in 1992 in Lightning Ridge, Australia. I've told you about that piece before, I think. And this is one of the stones that came out of the middle, besides another piece that I ended up selling for $1,500. That just goes to show you when you see a piece of opal, and this was a big piece, and I can't believe the cutters actually missed it, because normally they can tell from the outside what's on the inside, but in this case, they didn't. This is one of the 2 stones they missed. Look at this. This is black crystal opal, and it is, hold on, let me see, before Asif has my head for using that dirty thing. Okay, look at this opal, and look at the colors in it. Now, when I say black crystal, there's a difference whether it's crystal black or black crystal. opal. Look, you even see reds in there. Look at the reds in there. I mean, this is a stunning opal. And I didn't polish it all the way because then it'd be too transparent. Let me show you against something white why it is considered a black opal. So look at that. Against the white, without a doubt, when you see that, for one, you see the crystalline nature. In other words, it's translucent to transparent. And that dark against the white, that is absolutely in the ray. And if I had time, I'd show you the black opal scale, where and how it falls in the range of a black opal. That is a beautiful piece, even darker on one side than another. But what a gem! This, and here's the other important thing. When I tell you I got it in 1992 and cut it not long after that, what's important is because when an opal is that old, any chance of it crazing or developing those, dry lines in it is over with. It's not going to do that. It's a stable opal. The age of it tells you that. How, being that old, that if it was going to have that issue, it would have already had it. Look at this, me turning it another way. You see reds, beautiful, beautiful flashes of all those other intense colors. I have this at such an amazing deal. Take advantage of it. This is a Shawn cut cab from a long time ago. It's all that's in, yep, he has it actually in the description. Good job. So I'm offering it for only $60 a carat, $264. That is a unbelievable giveaway on that opal. And the polish is actually really nice. I just have my fingers on it. Look at that gem. Take advantage of that stone. That is, it comes with that other story, and I wish I had the piece of rough to show you right now about it. Now let me show you something else that goes with that big rutile. Item 12424. 12424. Let me give you a look at something magnificent, and that is a inexpensive or less expensive rutile crystal. Look at this. So here is another Georgia rutile. Look at, you can see the reds in the edges. This is some well-defined crystals and a really nice specimen overall, and beautiful piece. Only $148 on that. And in the world of Graves Mountain rutile, something like this, put that up in auction on these shows I see, it would be bid up into a $400 or $500 range. And the main people that do those auctions, they would assess the value on this at well over $1,000 to $1,500 on a Graves Mountain rutile of this quality. And in the world of Graves Mountain rutile, that is a nice specimen, especially then at only, goodness, $148. Okay, I have to show this behind me. Maybe two pieces. Never seen these before. Take a look at this. This is item number 1236024. And even all the live shows I did, I never had a piece of this nature when I had the Keweenaw copper specimens. Take a look at this. This is phenomenal because not only, I love the veined copper. So you can see the light reflecting. Now remember, these specimens have a heavy coating of an epoxy type resin that they put over them. Of course they should, because copper is going to combine and with things and make malachite. It does. So the green you see on copper, what you're seeing is malachite. That is the process of weathering, and Mother Nature creates a copper carbonate, and that's what you see. So that's why you protect and get to see that beautiful copper color by putting that layer of stuff over it, and you can wipe the fingerprints off of it. Now, look at that with the different angles. What you're seeing, see this green? That's epidote. You're familiar with epidote because we had that lesson a few shows ago where we talked about unakite being epidote and the red feldspar, named after the Utica Mountains of Virginia, where it was first discovered. And we also had an epidote lesson a otherwise. So here is another form that you see called massive epidote. You can see the darker green color, but the copper, the weight in this. And look at this. This is really neat. So it's got like a felt, well, it looks leathery, but on two sides, so you can display it in multiple ways. It's one of those that you can use it as a bookend where you have the shelf end as one end, and this can hold up the books from just one end, or you can turn it and use it in many different other display ways. Look at the back of this. So the back is truly the way it was mined out of the rock. And then to have the copper veining, natural copper like that, that's why the North America was discovered by Vikings and Norwegians long before Christopher Columbus ever came around. And they were all headed down the St. Lawrence Seaway to the copper deposit because native copper in the world was very rare. And it was, so when they found a natural deposit, it was certainly worth, think about the tools, everything you could make if you had natural native metal. This was before they could smelt iron and stuff. And look at the copper at the edge of this, I just noticed also. It's, so the copper must extend all the way to the exterior here. You just probably have to look a little closer to find it. That piece, I've never had anything like this. I'm offering it for a great opportunity for only $248. $248. That is one of a kind. One of a kind. Now, here is another one of a kind, and it's item number 1239724. This is the two collections I collected over many, many decades was the Made in America collection, items from the United States like this, which was part of the Made in America collection. The other one was my birthstone, January, all the garnets. So this, what I'm getting ready to show you is from the Made in America collection. Take a look. This is a stunning specimen of fluorite and what they call ruby jack sphalerite. Ruby jack sphalerite is a type of sphalerite that is a beautiful deep reddish color. We're going to look at that in a moment. But first, look at these classic deep purple Illinois fluorites from the Denton mine in Hardin County, Illinois. These are like no other fluorites you've seen. Let's take a look. Look at how rich that purple is. You wouldn't even know that it was necessarily purple until you, and this is how you know this mine is known for having those deep, rich, look at that. Wow, deep purple. I think today's show is about bands. And look at this. Now, this is an old-timey specimen, mined a long time ago. Now, here's Ruby Jack, but we're not going to look at these Ruby Jacks. Let's spin this around. Here is your Ruby Jack. Wow. This side is full of sphalerite, which we know is a zinc mineral. And look at that. Now, let's go in and I'll show you why the name Ruby Jack. Look at the reds and the oranges and the colors. So, and of course, it'll look different under different angles of light. Sphalerite does that. But look at how well crystallized the face of this is. This is a remarkable specimen. This is old-timey material. They're just not getting anything like this anymore. That mine's been around for a long time. This is, you can just almost see that it's an old specimen. They just often have that look. Well, sphalerite will tend to, can oxidize when it like that, but it takes a long time. And you see enough of these, you just kind of get a feel. Look at up here in this corner, you can see where there's more of, look at that, more of the fluorite coming through. And look at that purple. And I'm not really sure where this was attached to the wall. You know, there's always some place you look at, but when you turn this around, it wasn't, there's sphalerite growing on every edge. So what happens, they call this a floater. It wasn't to start off with. By looking at this, I would say what happened, it was growing on the wall of a vug, of a pocket, of an opening, and it broke off. So if it breaks off, it falls into the pocket, and then crystals will continue to grow. And this is what they call floating freely in the pocket. In other words, it's at the bottom, not attached to the wall. And that's how you get additional crystallization. So it looks like maybe it broke off from this side, but it wasn't exposed nearly as long as this was the side that was exposed to where they could grow. Just kind of a idea of what might have occurred. And that's what geologists and mineralogists look at for growth patterns and in the mineral. So you see that big fluorite here, but yet over here. So I would say this became a floater, if it wasn't to start with, has two gorgeous sides to it. Is a large cabinet-sized specimen, very affordable for what this is. It's only $288. That is the bottom price on it, but that is a specimen. If put up in these auctions or put up by these well-known mineral dealers, this would, and I know Miss Gabby would agree with me, this would sell for no less than $1,000 to $1,500 or more. Size becomes important. These crystals are in great shape and are a rich, actual purple color. So beautiful, beautiful specimen. Take advantage of that. That is another treasure that I have to sell. That it's just, I just have to sell it. I need teeth. I want my tractor back. And this is a time for all of you to take advantage of me and my opportunities I'm offering you right now. Now, I have a, oh yeah, so I know you guys will love this. Item 1240, 324. 1240, 324, I put together, because all of you bought every one of these, and I didn't offer anything like this in the live show. I did. So be fortunate. I'm going to use that for a backdrop for a moment, just because it's prettier than nothing. And hold on, let me get this so I don't scratch that. Here we go. Look at this. Look at these. Look at these. Tens and, well, did I use the wrong number? Let's see. 1240, 324. Okay. Now, I had 1243. Oh, what did I do here? 1240, 324. Is that 12? Hang on, 1240, 324. It should come up this. Look. Oh, where are we? 1240, 324. Oh, you have rhodolite. Oh, that's why. Okay. Yeah, leave out the size. I didn't do that. So these stones were mined from rough in 1980s. And the way you can tell grossular, and especially Tanzanian grossular, is they fluoresce beautifully. They are beautiful fluorescent orange color, all of them. And you'll remember that. Remember grossular? Remember savarite? Remember the Tanzanian savarite crystals and the stones themselves? How the different hosts and different people were actually showing you the fluorescence of not only the crystals, but the gems. So they will fluoresce orange, and they will also be magnetic. Even though there's calcium, aluminum, silicon, and oxygen, there's no iron in there. But what happens is Fe3 plus, a valence of iron, substitutes out for some of the aluminum, and enough so that it will create a magnetic pole. You have all the info you want on that? So since you saw the price, I'm going to give it to you at a deal. only $128. $128 for all 4 stones. I had these cut from rough. And look at this. You would not know that this is garnet look at the brilliance to that. Look at that. That is stunning. You can tell that's a beautiful custom cut. And I paid extra for that. Now this actually has a light green color tone. You're not seeing it very well, but you know what? I'm going to try it again just because I always have to. The fluorescence, let me see. We never can pick it up. These fluorescents, I keep trying every time. Never does work. But anyway, these stones are well cut and all belong to, that one is almost a Leuco garnet, which would then make it be a fortune. That would be a garnet that is clear. That better be a light green color. If that's a clear colorless garnet, I want it back. Here's 2 other matching hessonites with that one. Anyway, the whole parcel opportunity for you is exactly that. Only $128 and 2.70 carat. So that's what? Yeah, less than $50 a carat on that. Super duper deal. Now, I have this fluorite that you probably would see and wondered what it is if I didn't show it. So I'm keeping an eye on the time. Let's take a look at item 1235 224. 1235 224. I probably won't get time, but I have a celestite geode that's 28 pounds that I would love to show you, but we won't do it in this show. Also, those petrified wood slabs, you see those, Chuck, back there? How cool those are. So in the meantime, let's get to what we can. Take a look at this. Now, this is a relatively new find in the world of fluorite. Look at this without crushing those. Look at this specimen. Yeah, of course, that's a cabinet quality. Look at the size of the fluorites. Look at the density of them on this side. I'm not sure how you want to display it, but there is many different ways. Okay, so let's see. Let's look at some of the other goodies to this. The phantom part. Do I have if I don't have phantom in the description, that's okay. You know it is now. We can look and find it right here, because it's in multiple ones. All right, you see that? There is, and we'll get the flashlight out. So there is, you can see multiple stage growth by the different colors and the clarity at the edge of the fluorite. And then look at the fluorites that have grown on top of that. That's pretty unusual. And then, so you can see even this, you can see the phantom growth by the clearer portion at the edges. And this is, again, one of those specimens that you get and you spend hours looking at it. And that would be easy to do, because you can use, by the way, I'm going to try it again, Chuck. These turn a stunning blue, maybe. There we go. This is actually showing. I knew that wood on fluorite. There we go. And it's not the light just making it blue. It is the fluorescence of the fluorite. It turns that blue. That is one I knew I could show, because fluorite is named, that's where the word fluorescence comes from, is, it's not due to fluoride in toothpaste. No, it is due to fluorescence is why. Because fluorite is known to have that level of fluorescence. So if you're a fluorescent mineral collector, this would be a top of the line item to have to really show off fluorescence. So here's that side as we spin this around. Very attractive isometric cubes. And it looks like, look at this. This is an extra bonus. See that? That, if I catch the light on it, would probably reflect if I put some, you can use beeswax or other things if you want to put a light, like a wet look to it without doing anything. Right there, exactly. This is a type of feldspar. It's moonstone. This is moonstone. Doesn't it look like the Georgia peach moonstone I've shown before? It does. So these are moonstone crystals that have been cut through when they sawed this piece along with some other neat minerals. Look at this. You can see the crystals there. And so that's kind of neat. Look at this. You can actually see the feldspar crystals on the back of that. So just adding a little extra touch to a large, very fine quality specimen from a unique, unusual location. So ones like that don't come inexpensively, but you certainly have something very unique. It's 8 pounds, 14 ounces from the Amarani Mania mine, only discovered in 2018. That's why I said it's a very relatively new mineral deposit that was unknown, and Madagascar wasn't that well known for fluorites. So I have an opportunity on this one for only, wow, I guess I'll get it for under, yeah, why not? $978. $978. Another jewel from my collection. I told you as time went on, things would get better by way of what you would be seeing. And again, since I didn't get my 2 front toofies in my stocking this year, we're going to work towards them. I'm not sure if the tractor first or the teeth first. I don't know. I think the tractor might win out. Anyway, look at that. Magnificent size fluorites, a stunning, beautiful color, a unique rare specimen from a rare locality. And I'm not sure which way best to display that. There's multiple different ways that you can, that would be an attractive way. Just put it in a stand that you find that works for you. Oh, look at that. I was trying to be clever at the last moment, but that usually never works out. All right, we better leave it there. There we go. All right, now, give me one moment. I'll be right back with something else cool. Whoa, you haven't seen me show one like this either, because I haven't had one to show you. I haven't wanted to share. Out of all those Indian specimens that over the years I've had, all the zeolites and whatnot, well, there was this one, and you're looking at it, a zeolite, right? No, it's more of an amethyst with okonites in it. This is beautiful. I love it. Look at the okonites, which is a type of zeolite. Look at the, it's, geode, basically, portion of it, geode, and amethyst, and then, of course, the okonites, and these are protected, tucked back in there, and then let's look at this. I love the way those little crystals, but they look like little sea urchin arms or something coming out of it in an amethyst geode. So that's really unique and unusual. And I'm sure if I started looking at some of these amethysts, there'd be maybe goethite in them. I see some dark crystals. Yep, goethite. There's going to be probably some phantoms in there. Also, what I'm seeing is some unusual habit of quartz, the way that some of these are terminated. These are all the fun, cool things you can look at. Let's drop down to the okonite and just look at that. Look at that. That's a beautiful, beautiful piece. So, yeah, that's neat. All right. Only $298. Only $298. And look at the size of this. This is a large size. And wow, again, all I have to reference for value is going back to these very well-known mineral dealers and what they're pricing their items at. This one, and I know people that look, Miss Barbara, I know is well aware, items like this that have a showy factor to them, like the okonites and amethyst, it's nuts how much they would ask for, and they're getting, because they're doing it in these auctions. And so, as my daddy said, something's only worth what someone's willing to pay for it, and people are willing to pay so far beyond the prices I'm asking for these that it was shocking. Okay, with the time I have left, I'm going to show you something. This is beyond rare. It is item 1236. Let me 1236924. It is only one location that it was ever anything similar found. And this is from a mined out rare specimen. And let me see, I may swap this out at one time. And the actual true value of it is incalculable. I'm not even sure. I haven't seen anything ever like it, even from the specimens that have been known to come from this location. Take a look at this. Chuck, you'll like this. This is stunning. This is chalcopyrite with calcite, except the chalcopyrite is phantoming, if that's a word, the calcite. And what I mean by that is the layers, you know how we see phantoms in amethyst in the different color layers and the different growth patterns? What you have is the chalcopyrite growing, then the calcite growing over it, then the chalcopyrite growing back over it, again and again, creating phantoms from chalcopyrite. So you can see that I'll backlight them in a minute and really show it to you. But you can see that in these growths with the calcite, and then behind them, like this or this. Look at this. This shows you everything. All right, you have the outer layer of calcite. Now, a piece has come off up here, it looks like. But what's underneath the chalcopyrite? It shows you right there that the calcite engulfed the chalcopyrite, creating a phantom out of it. And it has done this multiple times with the bigger crystals, creating layers of chalcopyrite and calcite. And look at that. You can see that one right there. See the darker at the base? Look at the top of this particular crystal right here, where you have the calcite growing back over what would be the chalcopyrite. Okay, look at this. You see the exterior of this is only calcite. When we backlight it, look at the chalcopyrite on the interior. Look at the layers as we turn this around. And that, again, this is a piece that you can view 360 degrees all the way around it. And it's showy. Okay, here is what I want to show you. Look at this one. Isn't that neat? Just the very tip of that, Chuck. You can tell the chalcopyrite is underneath the calcite. Multi-layering of the growth cycle. That is a very desirable and rare formation for it to form in something you'd expect, but to form with chalcopyrite with that incredible iridescence is nothing like I've ever seen before. And the nice thing is it's visible and evident in in crystal after crystal. Here's another one. Here's a perfect, you can see behind it. Okay, backlit. See, you don't see it. Backlit, you can see the perfect chalcopyrite phantom underneath the calcite. I searched and searched, and there was nothing even similar. There was chalcopyrite over calcite, just like this. You can find that. But for it to be phantom layered, no. There was nothing I could find in the world of Mindat or elsewhere. Look at that. Look at that one. There's another perfect example. Here, look at that one. There, look at that one, Chuck. Look at that. You can see that perfect chalcopyrite phantom. Take that away, you don't see it. Look at this one behind it. Backlight it. You don't see the chalcopyrite at all, just a little darkness. Backlight it, you can see that. Look at that tip. Look at that phantom tip right there. This is where you spend a lot of time and have a lot of fun in looking at every one of these. And that is what I am caught up doing right now. I love this specimen. This is one of the rarest. The mine, it is mined out. It was a Baisha copper mine, and it is found no place else. Here's the other neat thing. It is fluorescent, of course, pinkish orange fluorescence on top of that. this is, want to try fluorescence again?
No, I was gonna say, it looks like little Christmas trees.
They do look like little Christmas trees. They do look like, and let's, for fun for a moment, let's look right in through one of these and show you. Let's look at that. Look at that. This is like no other. And this is something that the figures monetarily would be exorbitant. Now, it's not inexpensive even at my end of it compared to what I normally have. But if you want the rarest of the rare, I am offering you an opportunity on something that no one else will ever have, no one, anything I've ever seen. Look at every way you look at this, you can see that incredible iridescence. And look at this large crystal. Hold on, once this is gone, it's gone. I'll never get to enjoy it and see it again. You can see how much chalcopyrite is inside of these other fluorescent crystals. Look at the layers. See, look at that. Nothing there, but on the inside, look at that. Look at that. This is shows how many times that chalcopyrite was available than calcite and altering. Now I'm going to show you something else. This is what, since we're going to segue into this from our floater. Remember, yes, I actually do have show plans and show orders so that I can educate you in the right manner. Now, we just talked about a floater crystal, about the ruby jack, right? About how it got crystals on both sides, all the way around it. How did that happen? Let me show you. Now that you have that information education, look at the other side to this specimen. This is an entirely what they call healed specimen. So what's happened is, with all the crystal growth, this is one that is broken off of the pocket, and as nature doesn't like imperfections in its own self, it starts healing itself, is what they call it. And it started growing crystals on, you can see the secondary layer here on top of that. So it started growing crystals on the areas that newly became available. So to figure out where this was initially maybe attached would be difficult unless this was a seam and there was a gap above here and a gap below here for these to grow. But for it to be double-sided like this, that is extremely, extremely rare. And what a neat addition to an already world-class, beyond really museum quality specimen in this piece. I'm going to offer it as low as I can offer it, and I wouldn't even do that if it wasn't something I needed to offer. Like I said, as time went on, I was going to offer you some of the items you had never seen before. This is one of them. Price is only $1,488. Only $1,488. And with that, we will have to end the show, but I will be back with the trivia in just a moment. As soon as I can take my eyes off of gazing at this, let's just look at this one more time. That is, out of all the specimens I've showed you over the years, probably the most unique, one-of-a-kind, rarest. Now, don't take that price as the actual value. The actual value of this piece, it'd be hard to put a number on it, but I bet if it went up for auction at one of the well-known mineral dealers, you would find, or an outright sale, you would find this in a range of $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. Again, it's one of those, go find another one. You're just not going to. You're just not going to. Oh, one more. Zoom in on this. Look at the clarity to this crystal I was just looking at. Here's the other thing that becomes real important to especially the high-end mineral dealers are the crystals in good shape? And I would have to say on this, especially for calcite, Absolutely. Very, what they call minimal damage. And for this crystal to exist, look at that. There is your perfect phantom. And what a shot to end on, because that is the classic look where you can see the phantom. You can see it, but it's completely covered over by calcite. Let's backlight that for just a moment here. And there it is. Wow. What a shot for the cover of a magazine to have that. Look at that. A chalcopyrite phantom. What a way to end it on. So, oh, and by the way, see, like this, the ones that might have a little damage to the end, look what's happened. The chalcopyrite's coming up. It wants to heal it. It wants to cover it. It wants to fix itself. And that's what it will do if given time. That is a stunning example to end on right there. That says it all. I'll be back with the trivia. Okay, so Happy New Year to everyone. This is our going back. We haven't done trivia for 3 or 4 weeks now, so glad to get back to that. And remember, for the winner, we give away some really neat, cool prizes. But even if you don't want to participate in trivia, send in your comments. And to get to the comment section, since we haven't gone through this in a bit, go to gemshopping.com or just go to, of course, their homepage. All the way at the bottom, go to the sitemap like all websites have. Click on the sitemap. On the right-hand side column, keep scrolling down and down and down. And then you'll see a little place that says Ask Shawn. Click on that, and then it opens you up to the whole world of Shawn and the shows. Right at the very top, next to my picture, there's a link you can click to take you directly to these gem collector shows and the How It's Made or How It's Done series of videos. 30 videos that if you watched every one of them, you would know more than your hometown, just about your hometown jeweler. Probably actually more than many of the level of skill that many of your hometown jewelers don't have. You would actually know more than they would, or at least how something is done and the process of it. Because we take you through rebuilding mill grain on an estate ring, how to do bead setting, how to do channel setting, and I show you how all of it's done professionally directed and filmed by Asif and edited by another very talented member of the team. So you would enjoy them. You would enjoy watching them. So take those in. Right there also in that area is a place you'll see to leave me a comment. But easier than that. Shawn at gems.com. Shawn at gems.com. That's all you have to remember. Boom. Send me a comment. Send me an answer to the trivia. In the end, that's all you need. Now, if you want to know some of the rules and finer points of the trivia, like, we would need your email address or whatever if you win, and your address and whatnot, those kind of things. But you can read all of that under that little magic area of Shawn as well. So remember, Gem Shopping, we are here 24/7. You want to watch this show in the middle of the night and you see an item you want to get right then, call them up. They're here. I know. I just did a couple live shows and overnight, and yep, the magic of everyone, they're still there. Just like they were 17 years ago, just like they were 27 years prior to that. Since we lost our founder just the other week, it makes all of us think just how long Gem Shopping has been here and how long so many of us are still here 10 years later, 20 years later. Yeah. So I'm 17, Austin's I think 23. So just between he and I, we have 40 years of experience in the business here just at Gem Shopping. That doesn't even count my 2 jewelry stores prior to that and experiences around the world, mining and doing my hobby, doing what I love best and bringing that to all of you. All right, you ready for your trivia questions? Here they go. Question number 1. Now remember, the trivia questions usually have something to do with the show or something that will relate to it or maybe not at all. It's maybe something I think, well, that it'd be a good question for everyone to know the answer to if they did it. But let's see, I think these are show related. So let's see. And there's no, quote, there's right or wrong answers, but more so, I want it to be fun. Okay, if you don't get the answer right, that's right. There's no dunce hat. I give away items just for the fun of giving away sometimes, just for participation. So you never know when you'll get a participation award as well. All right, let's go. Number 1, rutile, which was part of the show today. Remember that magnificent large specimen coming from Graves Mountain, which you're also familiar with. Rutile in many other things that you got to remember. Remember, yes, rutilated quartz, rutile. That's where that word comes from. You've heard of rutilated quartz a lot. Plus, there's one other real important area that rutile is involved in that all of you should know. So rutile, which also forms the star in your sapphire and ruby. Yes, that star is created from rutile needles lining up in the same crystallographic direction that corundum lines up in a hexagon form. That's why you see rutile stars in quartz crystals in a 6-ray star coming out of a hematite center, and those 6 rays in corundum that are found in a 6-sided hexagonal ruby or sapphire crystal. So, which also forms the star in sapphire and rubies, is made up of what? One metal. Yep, rutile is made up of only one metal and oxygen. What is the metal that rutile is made up of? And I did say it actually in the show. But remember, once you get to the trivia part, no going back and watching the show. You can watch the show as many times before the trivia. Then once you get to the trivia, it's on the honor system. Question number 2. Labradorite is made up of what mineral? Now, I actually named the specific type of mineral, but I'll accept the general family. Okay? So I'll accept the whole family as opposed to the specific type. Like, in other words, if I asked you a question about hessonite garnet, hessonite is a member of the grossular family. And if I asked you something that referred to hessonite, I would accept the answer grossular, as opposed to being specific and saying hessonite. Same thing with this one. I'll take the general answer as opposed to the specific. But then I will tell you what the specific was. I mentioned the specific type in the show, but I'll take the general family member as an answer, just to make it a little bit easier. So the question again, labradorite is made up of what mineral? And the last question, rhodolite garnet, which you don't have to say garnet, but just to refresh your memory about rhodolite being a garnet member. Now, this is a little trickier. Rhodolite is made up with 2 types of garnets. What are they? What are the 2 types of garnet? I even named the percentage that it is considered that one has to have to be a rhodolite of one of those members of the garnet family. And I do really good not to trip up and give you the answers when I give you that information. Okay, so that's it. I wrapped up and used up enough of Asif's time, so it is time for me to say goodbye. But let me tell you, I have boxes of inventory that I have done preparing for other shows. And so we have got some great stuff to get to in the coming weeks. God bless all of you. Thank you for a supportive and wonderful year last year. I cannot express my gratitude enough for keeping me here. And looking into 2025, I hope you continue to stay by my side, because that's where I feel most secure, is with all of you right by my side, and knowing you're out there, that you love the show, that you support the show, and send in those comments if you do. And we do all kinds of fun things. So I hope you enjoy it. Hope you learned something. Tell friends and neighbors about it. Tell your rock and mineral groups about it. We want to expand viewership We added another 100. We're almost to 11,000 subscribers now. Wasn't that long ago we had 10, remember? So, yeah, that's right. Miss Barbara told me to do this. Like and subscribe. I always forget. So please do so. Thank you again, all of you. And I mean that. Right in here. Cheers.